Ah, a traveler, a traveler! Delightful, delightful. Rand's the name, rare and valuable goods and services is my game. Might I interest you in some of my marvelous goods? Or perhaps you're here for my special services? You with the Imperial Legion? The Penitus Oculatus? Well then, my friend, you'll be pleased to know that I can offer you an invaluable service indeed. I can get you through the border into Cyrodiil, whether or not the fancy Legionnaire up there wants you to. I'll tell you how for a pittance, relatively speaking, of course. What do you say? So, here's the deal. Ever heard of Serpent's Trail? A cave, big, winding, just like the beast it's named after. But it just so happens to start in Skyrim and end in the Imperial Province. Traipse through there, and you'll be in Cyrodiil in no time. Let me mark it for you on your map. Just, watch your back. It's an active smuggling route.
Someone else wanting to get into Cyrodiil? You'd best speak with the Legionnaire. Quickly. But be warned, he's not the most patient man.
This border is a restricted entry zone. State your intentions. You and hundreds of others. But I'm not authorized to let just anyone through. Border's locked down. That's that. No two ways about it. No arguing about it either. Those are the rules. You'll either need official papers or some other justification for your passage. You think I make the decisions? I may be a Legionnaire, but I'm just a grunt compared to the powers that be in the capital. Not that it takes a Synod mage to work it out. Skyrim's in the midst of strife, the Empire's still reeling from the war. Doesn't take a genius to realize the Empire wouldn't want any of that chaos spilling over into its heartland. If I'd heard of you and you'd completed some great deed, I'd be able to justify writing the paperwork and putting my rank on the line. As it stands, I haven't heard of you, and I'm not risking my livelihood for some traveler I've never met. Sorry. Then that's you and me both, because I have no reason to let you through the gate either. Sorry about that, but I have my orders. This border is a restricted entry zone. No. The Dragonborn of legend. You have the dragon blood coursing through your veins. Who am I to stand in your way? Pass through, mighty Dragonborn. It is an honor. Understood. Just hold on one moment. Letting someone as distinguished as you through this gate. Makes a change from all the frustrated traders and irate mercenaries. It's been a pleasure, truly. Here's hoping you can do Cyrodiil some good. I'd advise you make your way down to Bruma. I hear they're dealing with a lot of problems down there. The heartland of Tamriel. She's ailing. Maybe beyond saving. But I'm sure you'll take a fair crack at it all the same. Welcome to Cyrodiil. Report, soldier. Any luck?
None, sir. We persuaded him, we threatened him, we even beat him. Still wouldn't talk.
Damn it all. Unsurprising, though. Sadly. This one's stubborn. Too stubborn for his own good. Still, you did all you could. And that's admirable in itself. Now go. Get back to your regular shift. Damn it all. I'm at a loss. Divines. How can I get that damned guy to shut up and comply? It's rough and tumble, to say the least. This place is damned freezing. I don't tend to cross the border. This is as close as I get to the cold climes of the Nord homeland. I guess the Nords serving with us are used to this. They laugh it off while they rub their beards and puff their chests. But I can't stand it. If you mean the border itself, though, few people tend to come through. The Empire does know how to lock down a border when it tries, so we're here mostly as a last resort. What was that conversation about? It was about possibly the most stubborn prisoner we've ever captured and incarcerated here. We caught him crossing the border a few days ago. Since then, he's been raving incoherently. Well, he's coherent, but near delusional. We've been meaning to interrogate him, but every time I've sent one of my soldiers to do it, he's refused. And, you know the worst damned part? I feel for him. He's clearly somewhere between naive and insane, and the Penitus Oculatus aren't the most merciful sort. They'll come for him soon, make no doubt about it. And when they do, he'll face a fate much worse than any of my troops could dispatch. It's not the best situation, but my hands are tied. He'll be carted off by the Penitus Oculatus, the Empire's secret police. I've heard a lot about how they operate. None of it pretty. I'd prefer to resolve this situation here before sending this guy off to them. Divines know it'd probably be a fate worse than death. But, if no one's able to successfully interrogate him, well, my hands are tied. Some gold, sure. Why? You thinking of helping? Thanks. Though, thinking about it, I don't suppose you'd be interested? You do seem like the perfect candidate. It's not common practice, but considering what the alternative would be, and how uncooperative this particular prisoner is, I can't really say no. He's in the prison wing of the fort. One moment. Take this. A letter proving that I've given you authorization to go in there. Best of luck, and thanks for helping us with this.
My name's Arnoth. Arnoth the Bright-Eyed. If you're in the mood for song, you've come to the right Bosmer. Oh, like politics? Well, it's no secret that the Empire and Aldemiri Dominion are plotting against each other, even if neither of them care to admit it. People are doomsaying, saying that Cyrodiil is about to descend into another great war. I don't know what to make of it. And I don't much like contemplating my own death, so I try not to think about it. too much. Rumors? In Snowstone Rest? As much as I love the atmosphere here, the inn is hardly all that busy nowadays. Closest thing to a rumor around here is the sound of the hearth, burning away, like it always does. Well, I did hear a rumor that there's a Bosmer bard in a tavern near the Skyrim border who's currently looking for work. I heard tell that he's currently employed, but in the arse end of nowhere. So, you know, he's always available. If anyone... Divines, please, if anyone's interested. Well, actually, I have heard talk of a bizarre little creature running around stealing chickens and pies. Oh, and chicken pies down in the Blackwood. Heard folk down there have taken to calling it the Munchkin.
No!
Me? I learned back down in Valenwood. I wasn't taught, per se, but ever since I first got my hands on a lute, I knew it was my calling. The feeling as your finger twangs on the lute strings. The thrill of rapturous applause. That's the life for me. Of course, not many Bosmer get a lute. You gotta import them. Green packed and all that. You can't go cutting down trees in the Valenwood. From Airless? Yeah. Oh, you mean actual rapturous applause, though, right? Well, the answer is sadly, no. Not anymore. This place used to be packed with travelers crossing the border in both directions. Since the Skyrim Civil War and the Empire tightening border restrictions, let's just say Snowstone doesn't get much business anymore. See you.
Ah, your presence warms my lonely bones. Why run an inn in the rear end of the Gerald Mountains? I suppose that's a valid question as any. I built this place, board by board, you know. Well, I should have given old Barnius some credit. He was the moral support I needed when the going was tough. Back in the day, this place used to be an absolute hive of activity. Incredibly busy and incredibly lucrative. Lots of patrons and even more coin. You know, travelers going between Cyrodiil and Skyrim and all that. Sadly, the Empire put a stop to that, instituting tight border control with the outbreak of the Civil War. But Snowstone Rest is, and always has been, my prize. And, in all honesty, my true home. Even if it doesn't get much business these days. My old dog. I love dogs. Most faithful companions a man can have. He died a few years ago. The cold got to him. He never liked the cold. Was used to the temperate climes down south. He was my truest friend. And now he's gone. The customers at least used to distract me, but now I don't even have them. Speaking of which, I've been meaning to leave an offering at his grave, just behind the inn. Something to pay my respects. Remember a lifelong loss, you know. Problem is, I'm not really up to going around and gathering this stuff together. The wilderness is dangerous, and I don't want to die to a timber wolf or an ogre, or who knows what else. I suppose, with what little gold I can spare. Okay, then. If you could gather some motherwort for me, I'd be able to lay an offering for old Barnius. Just a few should do. Return the motherwort to me, and I'll be able to leave an offering and feel a little more at peace for a few more years. Food, drink, beds. Which one suits your fancy today? Because the Empire's got the border locked up tighter than a Khajiit skooma horde. Normally, this inn would be a hive of activity as travelers stream down the Gerals, heading to Cyrodiil. Now it's just an inn in the middle of nowhere. and I'm alone. Even more so since I lost old Barnius. I am. Especially since I lost old Barnius. Fine companion he was. A fine companion. Actually, I hate to impose, traveler, but if you ever come upon a stray in the wilderness, would you mind thinking of me? I don't have much coin to go buying a dog, but I could really use the company. Here's what I have. See you around.
Damn it all. Run out of Cyrodiil, all for daring to offend Dorina's band of criminals and cut purses. What's wrong? I'm being forced to flee my home, that's what's wrong. All because of those damned cutters. I got on their bad side, angered the wrong people, fought a little bit too tirelessly when they attacked the wagon I was escorting. Long story short, I need out of Cyrodiil. They're chasing me as we speak. I just stopped in here to get a bit of Nord fire in my belly for the trip. Actually, I hate to ask this of you, but could you deliver this note to my brother, Holgard? He runs Northern Arms, the smithy in Bruma. Thank you so much, traveler. I'd be happy to give you directions to Bruma if you need them. Once you get to the city, just find the smithy, Northern Arms. It's on the north side of town. Best of luck, friend. And thank you.
Can I help you?
I'm not a bandit anymore. I've left that life behind me. But damn if the shadows of the past won't cling to me like an addled ogre. I'm no one now, but I used to be one of Tharina's cutters. Deadliest bandits in the Gerals. All of Cyrodiil, I'd say. But I've had enough of that life. And now I'm just another nobody. At least I wish I was. The cutters make that hard, though. There's a group of cutters after me. They're not pleased that I defected and know their secrets. If I go to Bruma, they'll find me. If I go elsewhere in Cyrodiil, they'll find me. They'll probably find me here too, but it's my best chance. Maybe. But it won't be easy. They've sent retching Cornelius and his lackeys after me. Probably searching the wilderness as we speak. If you want to help me, the only way is to take out Cornelius. You'd drive me out of house and home, wouldn't you? Good thing I have neither to lose. Yeah, I do have a little coin from my runs with the cutters. It's yours if you put a blade through that old bastard. And why did you offer to help? Never mind. Adventurers. There's a group of cutters. If I go to Bruma, they'll find me. Maybe. They've sent... If you want to help me, well, it's your funeral. Be warned. Cornelius, when he goes after people, tends to travel with hunting dogs and cutter accomplices. He'll put up a fight. I'll head to Bruma. If you manage to end Cornelius without being dismembered, return to me there, and I'll give you a reward. See you.
Be careful of the northern part of the county. That area is prone.
Hello. A series of unlucky events. I'd rather not talk about it. I will put it into the fund that I've been putting together for a while now, to buy a house and get a roof over my head. It's growing slowly, but surely. Houses are expensive. My most sincere thanks, honored friend. See you around.
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The Chapel of St. Martin does not violate the terms of the White Gold Concordat. There is no Talos worship going on here.
It violates the spirit of the White Gold Concordat. I must urge you to cease and desist at once.
Oh? What is the spirit of the White Gold Concordat?
The spirit of the White Gold Concordat is that men are not and can never be gods. Just as Tiber Septim is not a god, nor is Martin Septim.
But what does the Concordat actually say?
The Concordat forbids Talos worship.
No mention of Martin Septim worship, though?
No, there isn't. I must consult with my superiors. Perhaps we will have to petition for a slight amendment to some unfortunately specific wording within the Concordat. We will keep our eyes on your little cult, however. And so, Skyrim's new favorite folk hero chooses to grace us with their presence. The Dragonborn, I presume. The burdens of fame weighing you down? Well, don't worry. I assure you, you'll receive no special treatment from me. A joker, too. Many before you. They now enjoy your stay in this fair city. Not highly of me, I suppose. Then again, the feeling is mutual. No, I just wear the uniform for fun. Yes, of course I am. I'm here to protect the Aldmeri interests in Bruma, and ensure that the terms of the White Gold Concordat are upheld. Important, given that we're so close to Skyrim and its rebellious little Nords. Next, you'll be telling me, my, oh my, not many Gwar in Bruma. Scales of Oriel, thanks for telling me that. I'll be sure to tell all my friends. Put up posters, even. To hear you speak of civility is somewhat disarming, considering our environs. This city is filled with uncultured louts who I suspect would quickly turn on each other for an ancient bottle of mead. Given that you at least have the vocabulary and mental faculties to understand the concept of civil society, yes, let us speak. But be quick about it. Disarming lack of incorrigible idiocy aside, you are still not my idea of a scintillating conversationalist. I will put it in simple terms, so perhaps you might understand. The Aldmeri Dominion signed an accord with the Empire, known as the White Gold Concordat. That accord guarantees the Dominion, and by extension the Thalmor, that Talos worship shall be outlawed. We are simply here to ensure that the Empire does not renege on that commitment. I am Altmer. I was born and raised among the wizard lords of Alinor, and now I am posted to a frigid squat filled with brutes and drunkards. That doesn't exactly lend itself to a warm disposition. Does that make things any clearer? Nor does ignorance justify obstinance, but that lesson evidently hasn't trickled down to many residents of this frosty backwater. Oh well, I suppose a Khajiit can't change its spots just like that. But yes, to put a long story short, we are all products of our environment, are we not? Guilt. This empire, one need only have Tibus, but if your goal is, then I'm afraid you will enjoy precious little. No. If anything fruitful is going to come of this conversation, it will not be the sentimental exchange of life stories. Suffice it to say that I am a Thalmor Justiciar operating in Bruma. My identity outside of that is entirely irrelevant. I have fulfilled... Again, my enjoyment, or otherwise, is irrelevant. Bye.
Excuse me, sorry to bother. I don't suppose you've seen any priceless Sakaviri heirlooms gallivanting around Bruma, have you? As I suspected. Just, let me know if any do. It's tough. On one side, you've got criminals, the kind that like to hide behind law and policy to wriggle out of justice. On the other, you've got politics, constantly meddling in our affairs as everyone walks on eggshells. And here I am in the center, just trying to make things work for the people. Sometimes I wish I'd stayed down in the Imperial City. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far. We have it fairly okay compared to some other parts of the province. The problem is that the criminals here aren't driven to it out of desperation. They just want the coin, to get rich. They know how to game the system. Except D'Artagnan. He's... well, never mind. I've probably told you too much. You're right. Well, listen. D'Artagna's a thief. Likes to call himself a cat burglar. Funny Khajiit sense of humor. But it's funny, he steals from those who don't deserve what they have. Like, say, other thieves or power-mad politicians. And then he sells the stuff. With a discount for those who truly need it, no less. I don't understand that cat. But I can't really complain. As thieves go, he's one of the better ones. But he currently has charges leveled against him from Cetus, the owner of Icewind Traders. So that's that. More than you might think. Between the Count, the White Gold Concordat, and all the other treaties, the rules are constantly changing. All I want to do is protect these people, jail criminals, earn my keep. And then the damned wind changes, and with it, the law. And then, what do you know, I'm supposed to jail this group, and that group, and the other group. And for what? For politics. Despite it all, though, I wouldn't trade this job for the world. It's rewarding, fulfilling, and at least it lets me provide for myself and my family. Yep, me and my family. Wife and children are still there, in fact. Left because the place is swarming with people. Hard to find any work. Came up here, couldn't find much work either. Joined the guard on a whim. Saw a lot, rose to the ranks. And now I'm guard captain. Funny how things work out. I try to take my duties seriously, and send as much as I can back to my loved ones. A whole lot of uproar. You see, and going... Well, it turns out poor old Count Desilus... Count Carvain? No, not... The Count's talking... Better him than some of the other counts and countesses in the province. Yes, well, I'm out and I'm wandering Bruma after Trinket. I just bring them back. And I mean extremely appreciative. Seriously. Akaveri art, Rignar and the... If you want to know exactly what artifacts to keep your eyes peeled for, not in particular, might be a decent place to start your search. I have no idea how they'd manage that, honestly. I'm not too sure. It'd be worth speaking to him, if you think... Almost deaf. Someone possessing those artifacts could find themselves becoming very wealthy very quickly.
Those are dexterous hands.
I suspect that's
Bet you
the
picked
motive
a few
here.
locks in your day. Well, don't get any ideas here.
Hello! Can I help you?
What is it?
Hello. Is there something I can do?
I can handle most smaller matters. Try not to bother the Count unless it's important. He's a busy man. Indeed I am. I am Count de Bruma, of course. But we don't let that put a dampener on things. So the guard captain's actually looking into some amulets, some rings. I didn't normally, but this time I'm sorry I can't be of more use. Best of luck with your investigation. What is it? A group of bandits in the county are growing bolder and are becoming a menace. The Count has put a bounty on their heads. Here, take a look at the warrant. Goodbye.
Welcome to our fair city. What brings you to Bruma? I am de Silas Car. I am young. I acted. That is what matters. Well enough, I suppose. The Great War. Bruma is the jewel. And while we have our. Compared to Shaden Hall and Breville, it's, on the one hand, and, but I'm proud to serve. Not particular. These are true. But if it's work, he's more likely to have work for. Not particular. These are truly. But some. If it's work, he's more likely to have work for you. It didn't. Minor skirmishes are not what people refer to when they speak of the horrors of the Great War.
Bruma, jewel of the Geralds and all Cyrodiil.
Good morning.
Calm down.
I promise I won't blow it on Mead again. Hello. I, that I am, fought in the Great War against the Dominion. I lost my weapon, lost my sight, and lost my freedom. Can't do much now on account of my eye. If only I had an extra septum to help me buy a loaf of bread. I've heard a thing or two, but it's going to cost you. Haha, yes, that's what I like. Thank you. Have you heard that bard, Reynard? He's probably one of the worst musicians I've ever heard. And I've heard the wailing of old Caroltus Cockeyed. I've heard a thing or two. Haha. Oh, looks like I've already... Bless you, sir. Bless you. See.
Hello? You what? I'm... Here. Have this. A little bit of coin. Least I can do. Here's hoping Avar can return here in time. Can I help you? You're asking a Nord where he learned to smith. That's like asking an Altmer where he learned to make you want to punch him in the face. I learned all over Tamriel. I learned near enough my whole life. When I was 10, my mother would always be going on, you know. Damn it, Holgard, I haven't seen you with a hammer out of your hands for years. I don't even remember what your empty hands look like. By now, I'd believe it if someone said you were born with a smith's hammer in your hand, and burn marks to match. The bottom line is that blacksmithing is as much a part of being a Nord as the beards and the drink, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Relatively good, as of late, I'd say. Hostilities are boiling under the surface here in Cyrodiil. Have been for a while. No one dares make the first move, but everyone's waiting for it with bated breath. That means they're arming themselves in preparation for rainy days to come. And that means customers for blacksmiths such as myself. Not to sound like a war profiteer, of course. Sure, they're not walking around in armor with swords in their scabbards all the time, but people are keeping a weapon handy a lot more these days. Never know when you'll need to defend yourself from a party of Dalmor justiciars. Don't tell Armian I said that. They know a storm is on the horizon, and soon enough there, all of our lives are about to become a lot more dangerous. They want to be prepared. By the looks of things, you outclass me. Sorry, but there's nothing further I can teach you. Until next time.
I'm Bonus. My dad is Obek. What's your name?
Stranger, have you seen my dad? Dad's a soldier in the Legion. He's always off of... He's big and tall with... She works at... whatever that means. Who's N? Licinia Ironheart. That's what my mom told me. Yeah. Grandpa told... At home, I think. We all live in the big... Mommy says
They make so much noise at night that Celis Mommy must like it better too, because she uses it even though it makes Grandpa mad. Bye.
Damnable tavern! Owner, how dare he allow that lizard to engage in such a salacious display?
Here to browse my fine selection of ancient Nordic items? Come, come! My stock is replenished daily with the finest wares for your convenience. Why not? Why not? The same reason I sell ancient Nordic artifacts, so that the young Nords here in Bruma can be reminded of the roots. Bruma has all the surface trappings of Skyrim, the snow, the cold, but Skyrim is so much more than that. Something Bruma isn't and can never be. It's about the Nordic ruins dotting the landscape, about the dragon walls. It's about the diversity. Whiterun and the Reach, the Pale and Eastmarch. That variation of Nordic culture is something Cyrodiil doesn't have. I'll be content if my presence here reminds just a few Nords that they're not just Imperials with more facial hair and deeper voices. Many of them I collected during my adventuring days. I used to wander Skyrim in search of opportunity and adventure. I went through my fair share of Nordic ruins back in those days, and I took a liking to the ancient Nordic metalwork. So, I began to collect them as I adventured, and when I finally decided to settle down, I had quite an extensive stock. It's doing well. A lot of travelers tend to buy from me, as well as young Nords who are soul-searching, trying to find the Nordic heritage here in Cyrodiil. As it happens, yes, ancient Nordic weapons. They're a big chunk of my business, and I'm running low. If you happen to come across any in your travels, I'd pay you well. Excellent! Good.
I'm Galarin, Synod Hopeful. If you have any cuts or bruises, I'd be happy to practice. Can I help you? Yes, I am. I'm hoping to join the Synod Conclave here in Bruma. Restoration mostly, but I also enjoy alchemy and alteration. Not so big on destruction. I like preserving life, not taking it. Oh, I was born in Bruma. I traveled around Cyrodiil and lived for a few years in Coral, but the mountains and the cold air always called to me. My parents used to say there must have been some Nord blood in our family for me to love the snow so much. There probably isn't, of course. My parents were from High Rock. That's about as Breton as it gets. Too bad they aren't here to see me make the Synod. I think they would have been proud. They died a while back. Papa got sick, so Mama went out adventuring to try and raise money for a healer. Mama never made it back, so Papa never got his healing. I'm not broken up about it anymore. It happened several years ago now. But I do still miss the feeling of family, of being loved, you know? In any case, being a mage of the Synod will help with that. That will be my place to belong. Farewell.
If you want a potion, you want me.
No, there aren't. Doesn't matter much to me, but sometimes I do feel kind of isolated among all the Nords and Imperials. There wasn't already an alchemist in town when I came up here, and I figured it was a burgeoning market and a ripe opportunity. Fortune favors the bold, or so they say.
I'm always on the lookout for ingredients. Tending this stall leaves me little time to gather ingredients in the wilderness, and the Timberwolves are always a threat regardless. Tell you what, You bring me some clouded funnel, carambolette, and milk thistle. Thanks. Get back to me with the ingredients, and you'll get your coin. Fine goods, fair prices. Bye.
Yes, dearie.
An interesting question, with an interesting tale to follow. You see, the names of Nordic clans are earned, not simply given. Each name has a meaning, each meaning a story.
My mortar and pestle can make
Our
near any
clan
potion
was
or
once a
poultice.
small group of farmers in Windhelm, in an era long before this one. We were a poor lot, and could barely pull enough roots out of the ground to make a living. But one among our clan, an exceptionally bright young man, had a plan to help us till the icy soil of the north. He left the farm and traveled to Whiterun to learn from the best smiths in the province. He studied there for many years before returning.
He brought with him a plow of tempered steel so bright and gleaming that it shone like pure silver in the sunlight. The metal was tough and sharp enough to tear through the frosty earth, and light enough to be carried by even the lamest of ponies. The farm and the clan, my clan, flourished, and was thereafter known as Silver Plow. It just goes to show that not all great clans and warriors survive by tackling their problems head on. Sometimes you've got to use your brain more than your blade. Why, you honor me with your compliments. Thank you, thank you. Come back any time for more lore or history. Yes, dearie. Oh, absolutely. I collect anything Nordic, whether it be a crafted artifact or a spoken story. Some may call it an odd hobby, but I'm proud to preserve my people's ancestry.
I heard Cetus got a new shipment from Skyrim. I wonder if he has any new Nordic artifacts.
Until next time.
Can I help you? All right, I suppose. My sales pitch isn't very good, I know, but I still get a fair few customers. Everyone needs something to wear, I guess. You can tell, huh? Yeah, I'm not exactly the best salesman. Don't exactly like being one either. Don't worry though, I'm a much better tailor than I am a merchant. You know, I always thought about doing something else, becoming an adventurer or whatnot. It's just, well, I'm not cut out for that kind of lifestyle. As my good ma always said, Gryfard, my worthless, good-for-nothing son, you gotta do something with your life. And since you seem to be better at sewing than spellcasting, you'd best become a clothing merchant, so here I am. Yeah, she's a lovely woman, my mother. Powerful mage, too. If you see her around these parts, though, you warn me right away. She's the reason I left High Rock. You won't find finer fabric in all of Cyrodiil. Talk later.
Veil the wood scholar, streaming anew into to which it is streaming for the boss.
Damnable tavern! Damnable owner! How dare he allow that lizard to engage in such a salacious display? Scandalous!
Us a new pause for love.
Renaud, you're distressing the customers.
Distressing? I am distressing the customers.
That's what I just said, yes.
You are... You dare... How dare you? I am outraged. You hire me to play songs in this bar that is so far below my standards, and now you proclaim my music as distressful? I'm done with you standards, and I'm done with this shoddy excuse for a tavern.
I'm Sinja. Sinja Strongmind. I'm one of the nobles of County Bruma.
How about that, huh?
Is there anything I can help you with?
And you talentless, tasteless fiends! How dare you insult my music? Could you do better? No, you couldn't. Because I was trained at the Bots College in Solitude, and I'm the foremost practitioner of the art of song since Wagner himself. You are nothing more than jealous maggots, grasping your waist to insult me and belittle my talent. And to that, I say, good day.
How may little D'Artacto help a big one such as yourself?
What can I get you?
See you around.
Oh, in oblivion, told that
Welcome to
guy
the Gerald
he's a good
View.
singer.
What can...
I've heard
Business
the
at the
name
Gerald
of
View is always good, due to our exceptional standards for customer service.
Don't you trust me, standards?
We strongly believe that if you build it, they will come.
Yesterday it was the bath. It feels like
Talk
you
to you
don't
later.
trust me.
Razada the Resplendent invites you to his... Razada the Resplendent greets you! How can my arcane ability and esoteric enlightenment... What an intriguing inquest! I do indeed have a bed. Well, a bedroll. I do not own property in Bruma, for the city is full, and I am somewhat of a latecomer. That, and not being registered to any property, grants the Synod and College of Whispers less opportunity to persecute, hound, maltreat, and, molest me. As they are wont to do. Bruma is the last bastion of Imperial land before the border and the harsh ravages and independent College of Skyrim. Those poor souls who find themselves overcome with vexation at the shockingly bureaucratic nature of Cyrodiil's key magical institutions, well, they tend to, peregrinate to Skyrim. When the Imperial Border Guards halt them at the selvage, so to speak, they lodge in Bruma. Thusly, my wares are in great demand. Why, of course not! No self-respecting mage joins those scurrilous syndicates. Oh, my friend, I'm strictly independent. That's what allows me to cut out the bumbledom and bring you only straightforward sortilege. Yes, indeed. To my great regret, a few scalawags here in Bruma appear to have not paid their bills for their enchanted weapons from Razada. I am beside myself with angst about this, as you can no doubt imagine. So, my fair and, might I say, rather imposing friend, if you would be willing to speak to these scoundrels and acquire my warranted compensation, I would be most obliged. Excellent! Allow me to arm you with more knowledge of the aforementioned mischief makers. You'll need to speak with Roland Wickert, the young chap at the Synod Conclave here in Bruma. Stantis Valeria is the second of these reprobates, the owner of the Geraldview Tavern. The third is Stablemaster Ila the Upright. Clearly the title was given rather than deserved. Do this for me, and I shall bestow coin upon you for each, and a truly copious recompense indeed once all three mischief makers are dealt with. Of course, excellent. Well, the first is the second, the third, fourth, fifth. So, which will it be? A wise choice, my friend. This staff will truly chill your foes. Ah, your foes will go running home to their mother when... Aha! Your foes will cower at the sight of... Your mistress can thank me later. Your loss, but do reconsider. Rizada the Resplendent, Enchanter Extraordinaire, Ah, you've purchased yourself a fine enchanted item. I'm afraid I make my refund policy clear. That is, there are none. No refunds. I mean, not no policy. There is a policy. Very much so, in fact. Oh, did I not? Ah, must have slipped my mind. My sincerest apologies, but all sales are final. I quite like my luscious cheeks right where they are, thank you very much. Please, here, take your restitution. Now, let us agree to an armistice, yes?